question 1 says to write 0.75 as a fraction. Well, that goes into the hundredths column, so it's 75 hundredths. There you go, it doesn't say to simplify it there, so we can just write 75 over 100. You could divide the top and bottom by 25 though, and that would give you 3/4, so either of those answers would be fine, but 75 over 100. Writing these in order of size, starting with the smallest, well, let's look at the biggest negative, and that's -3. So -3, then -1, then 0, and then 2, and then 4. There we go, just ticking them off as you go. Writing down 2 factors of 15. Well, there are lots of factors of 15. You can have 1 and 15 for starters, or you could have 3 and 5. So any 2 of those would be great as your factors of 15. Changing this into kilograms. Well, the first thing to note is that there's 1,000 grams in 1 kilogram. So for 1,756, that would be 1 and a bit, and that bit is 0.756, so 1.756. Writing the number 2 million in figures, that's going to start with a 2, and a million has 6 zeros, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 2 million in figures. Dave goes into a cafe and buys 2 cups of coffee and a piece of cake. Each cup of coffee is £2.75 and the cake costs £2.90. He pays with a £10 note. He thinks he'll get more than £1.50 in change. Well, let's find out how much change he actually does get. Don't forget you have a calculator for this. So he buys 1 cup of coffee, £2.75. Another cup of coffee, so that's another £2.75, and then a piece of cake, so £2.90. And again, we just need to add all of those up. So £2.75 plus £2.90 gives us a total cost there of £8.40. So £8.40 is how much he spends. Now he pays with a £10 note, so 10 take away £8.40 leaves us with change there of £2.60. Oh, sorry, that's a complete mistake there, £1.60. There you go, £1.60. So he gets £1.60 in change. He says he thinks he will get more than £1.50 in change, so yes, he is correct. Okay, because he gets £1.60 in change, and there's your answer. There are Y boats on a lake and there are 7 people in each boat. Write an expression in terms of Y for the total number of people in the boats. Well, if we had 5 boats, for example, you would do 5 times 7 and you'd get 35. Now, if we've got Y boats, we just do Y times 7. And again, we write that using algebra, so we get rid of the times sign and put the number first. So 7Y is an expression there. Okay, so 7Y. Simplifying these, getting rid of all the time signs, putting the number first, you get 7AB. Just writing all those things without the time signs, so 7AB. Simplifying this, y times y times y. Well, when you multiply similar letters, it increases the powers. We've got 3 y's there, so it's y cubed, which means y times y times y. Simplifying this one fully, we've got, well, if we simplify this, we've got e cubed f on the top and e squared f squared on the bottom. Okay, now what we actually can do is we don't have to actually write it like this, but we can cancel some of them off top and bottom. So we can get rid of an f top and bottom, we can get rid of an e top and bottom, and we can get rid of another e top and bottom as well. So if we actually look, what we've got left on the top is e, and what we've got left on the bottom is f. So it's e over f. So there we are, that's fully simplified, e over f. Now we've got a pictogram, and it says that one of these circles represents 8 vinyl records, and it says it's the amount that they sell from Monday on to Tuesday, and then Wednesday, Thursday is blank. It says write down the number of records sold on Monday. So on Monday, that's 8, and another 8, and another 8, and that is a total of 8, 16, 24, so our answer would be 24. The next thing it says on Tuesday as well. So on Tuesday, let's have a look, we've got 8 there, and we've got a quarter of a circle. Well, half a circle would be 4, half of that, and a quarter circle there, which is what we've got, would be half of that again, which is 2. So we've got an extra 2. So 8 plus 8 is 16, plus 2 is 18, so 18 vinyls on Tuesday. It says on Wednesday and Thursday, a total of 36 vinyls were sold. The number of records sold on Thursday was 8 times the number of records sold on Wednesday. Use this information to complete the diagram. Not very nice there actually, but we've got 36 and one's 8 times the other. So at the moment it's in the ratio 1 to 8. Okay, so if we split 36 in this ratio, that adds up to a total of 9 parts. So 36 divided by 9 equals 4. So times in now these both by 4, we get 4 to 32. There you go. And again, you could just try numbers. You could pick, I don't know, 2 records, times it by 8, and then see if it adds up to 36. That's actually the quickest way of doing it, 4 to 32. So completing the Venn diagram, sorry, not the Venn diagram, the pictogram up here, we need to get 4 and 32. So let's just double check. It says the number of records sold on Thursday was the bigger one, 8 times the number sold on Wednesday. So if we get 4 and 32 in here, 4 there, 32 here, and we just need to do that in the actual picture. So half a circle is 4, and there's our 4, and for 32 we get 8, 16, 24, 32. There we go, so 4 circles on Thursday. Here are 3 symbols. Write one in each box to make the statements correct. So we've got less than, we've got greater than, and we've got equal to. We just need to put them in. So 14 is less than 21, 4 plus 7 is 11, and 103 take away 92. Let's do that, but don't forget you've got a calculator. 103 take away 92 is also 11. There we go, so they're equal, so equal to. 2 squared is 4, 2 times 2 is also 4, so equal to again. And negative 3, negative 5, well negative 3 is bigger than negative 5. There we go, so greater than negative 5. On to the next one. P is 7r plus 3q. Work out the value of P when r equals 5 and q equals negative 4. Well, let's sub these in. So we've got 7 lots of 5. So 7 lots of 5. Add 3 lots of negative 4. So 7 lots of 5 is 35. And we're adding 3 lots of negative 4. 3 lots of negative 4 is negative 12. And 35 add negative 12. Don't forget that makes a takeaway. So it's 35 take away 12, which is 23 as your final answer. Some substitution there, just subbing the values in. Here we've got a train timetable. So Graham gets the bus to the station in Brighton at 7:15. Work out how many minutes he has to wait until 7:22. Well, add another 5 minutes would get us to 7:20. Add another 2 would get us to 7:22. So 7 minutes from 15 to 22. How long will it take the 7:22 train to get to London? So we're looking at this part of the bus timetable. So it's from 7:22 till 9. Well, let's first think, how do we get to 8 o'clock? Well, that'd be 38 minutes to get us to 8 o'clock. So we've got 38 minutes to 8 o'clock plus another 60. And that'd be 98 minutes, or an hour and 38 minutes. Let's just see how it wants the answer. It doesn't actually say, so we could write 1 hour 38. Or we could just write 98 minutes. So 1 hour 38 or just 98 minutes there would be fine. Okay, so we've got 9 identical squares inside a rectangle. It says the length of the rectangle is 12, given to us up here, and it wants us to work out the width. Now, if we have a look going across here, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 squares. So if the total length there is 12, 12 divided by the 6 squares gives us a side length of 2 centimetres. And if we have a look going up, we've got 1, 2, another 2, another 2, another 2, and another 2. So if we add those all up, we've got 10 centimetres there because you've got the 5 2s. So our final answer is 10 centimetres. And there we go, just writing that down the bottom, 10 centimetres. Now we've got a ratio, writing this in the form n to 1, so it wants this number here to be 1. Now the only thing you can divide any number by to get the answer 1 is itself, so we want to divide both sides by 2.25 and divide the left hand side by 2.25, and you'll get your ratio in a n to 1. So 4.5 divided by 2.5 on the calculator is 2, and then we get our 1, so 2 to 1. Now I've got a rectangle. It says it's 90 by 60. Flowers are grown in 40% of the garden, the rest is grass. Work out the area of the garden that's grass. So if we work out the area of this rectangle to start with, so 90 times 60, which is 5400 metres squared. Now we just need to work out the percentages here. So we could work out the amount that's flowers if you want. 40% of 5,400. So divide it by 10 for 10%, you get 10% equals 540. Times that by 4 for 40%. Okay, and 540 times 4 is 2,160. Now that's the part which is flowers. So either we could have times 10% by 6 to get the other 60%, or we can take that away from 5,400. So 5,400 the total area, take away 2,160. Leaves us with 3,240 metres squared, There we go. And that's the bit that's covered by the grass. Here we've got some coins. It says it's 4 bias coins, which is least likely to land on heads. Well, if we balance these all out with the same amount of decimals, bearing in mind this one here has at least 3 decimals, we've got 0.330, 0.033, a third is 0.333 recurring, so there's going to be more 3's after that, and then the 30% is 0.300. There we go. So if we work out here which one is the smallest or the least likely, it's going to be this one here that starts, has its first decimal as a 0, and that is coin B. So coin B is the least likely. The one that's the most likely, well, it's between these two here, and the 3 recurring means there's going to be an additional 3 at the end there. Sorry, it's not those two. I've highlighted the wrong one there. There we go. You'd have thought it might be between a third or this 0.330, but because that third there ends in an additional 3 because it's recurring, it's a bigger number there, so we've got a bigger probability for C, so the answer is C. Julie says the probability that coin C will land on heads is the same as the probability that coin C will land on tails. Let's have a look. Is she correct? The probability that coin C will land on heads is the same as the probability that coin C will land on tails. So in order for that to be true, it'd have to be 50-50. So coin C there is 1/3. Well, that means the probability that it lands on the other side is going to be 2/3. So actually, no, she's wrong, because one's a third and one's 2/3. No, because it is 1/3 and 2/3 and not 50-50. Coin B is going to be thrown 4,000 times. Work out an estimate for the number of times coin B will land on heads. Well, let's have a look. What's the probability of coin B landing on heads? Coin B was 0.033. So 0.033. Okay, so that is 3.3%. So we could either work out 3.3% of 4,000, or as we have a calculator, we can just multiply that by 4,000 straight away. So 4,000 times 0.033 gives us a final answer of 132. Again, you could work out 1%, turn it and 0.1%. I think it takes you a little bit longer there. Just timesing it by the decimal percentage there is a lot easier, 132. Now we've got 84 calories in 100 grams of banana, 87 calories in 100 grams of yogurt, and then we've got 60 grams of banana and 150 grams of yogurt going into a breakfast, and it wants us to work out the total number of calories. Well, if that first one there, the banana, let's work out that one. 100 grams equals 84 calories. So if we work out 10 grams, which we can do nice and easily, that we can turn back into 60, we just divide by 10. So if we divide that by 10, again you've got to calculate, you get 8.4 calories. Times that by 6 to get 60 grams. So 8.4 times 6 on the calculator gives you a total of 50.4, and that's for the banana. Then we can move on to the yogurt. And again, we need to get to 150. At the moment, we've been given that 100 grams is 87. Well, if we halve that, we can get 50. So half of that, so 50 grams divided by 2 gives us 43.5. And if we add those both together, we'll get 150 grams, or we could just times that by 3. Okay, so just either one of those, times it by 3 or add them both together, gives you 130.5 calories for the yogurt. Now it says work out the total number of calories, so we just need to add those two together. So 50.4 and 30.5 gives us a total of, let's have a look, we get a total of 180.9. So 180.9 is our total amount of calories there for that yogurt. Now we've got a question about two machines that make car parts. So machine A makes 6 car parts every 10 and machine B makes 13 car parts every 15. On machine A on Monday works for 12 hours and machine B makes parts for 10 hours. Work out the total number of parts made. Okay, so A is going to work for 12 hours and it makes 6 parts every 10 minutes. So I'm going to split this up, 6 every 10 minutes. Let's turn that into hours. So 10 minutes times 6 would be 36 every hour. So if it works for 12 hours, let's times that by 12. And 36 times 12 gives us 432. There you go, so machine A is going to make 432. Now the next one, machine B, let's keep it all separate, makes 13 every 15 minutes. Okay, so 15 minutes fits into an hour 4 times, so if we times this by 4, we get 13 times 4, 52 every hour. And it works for 10 hours, so we'll times that by 10, and that gives us 520 that it's going to make in that time. So the total amount, very similar process to the last question, is just to add these two together, so 432, add 520, gives us 952. So 952 is our total there. Okay, so we've got a plan of a kitchen, and it says it's drawn in a scale of 1 to 30, which is also given to us down here in the diagram. So let's have a look at what we've got to do. So I'm just going to put a small table in the kitchen. The table has to be more than 180 centimetres from A and more than 150 centimetres from BC. Show by shading the diagram the region where Sam can put the table. So we need to use a ruler and a compass for this one. So more than 180 centimetres from A. So first things first, we need to work out how many centimetres that is. Here's A. So if it's in a scale of 1 to 30, 180 centimetres divided by 30 gives us 6 centimetres on our actual paper. So you need to get your compass, you need to get your ruler and measure out your compass to 6 centimetres. Sticking your compass on point A right here, swing your compass around. I can't actually see this, but it's going to look something like this, okay, which you'll be able to do a little bit better on your paper. And that's that first part done. Now it says, let's get rid of that. Now it says as well, it's got to be more than 150 centimetres from BC. So BC is this line over here, this is the line BC. And we've got to find out how many centimetres on the paper 150 will be. So 150 divided by our 30 gives us 5 centimetres. So you've got to measure 5 centimetres away from B and from C. So ruler here, measure 5 centimetres away. So imagine it goes to there, and 5 centimetres away from B, and again let's imagine it goes to there. So using your ruler and pencil, nice and carefully drawing your line up, a nice straight line, better than mine. And there we go, and our region is going to be something looking like that. There we go, and you'll be able to do that a lot better on your actual paper, but it will look something along those lines with obviously the correct dimensions with your ruler and your compass. Moving on to solving an inequality, we've got to get these ends on the same side. So treating this just like a normal equation, as if this was an equal sign, we would have to take away 11n from both sides, the smallest value of n there. So if we take 11n from the left hand side, you're left with 3n, and on the right hand side you'd be left with 6. And then we can just divide by 3 to get the value of 1n, and you get n is bigger than 2. So there's your answer, n is greater than 2, treating that just like a normal equation there, solving an inequality. The next part, we've got to draw an inequality on a number line, but the problem is we've got x plus 3 in the middle. So we need to take away 3, and we do that to both sides so that we're just left with x in the middle. So we get minus 5 is less than x, and then we've got less than and equal to 4. Oh, I haven't actually taken away 3 there, my bad. There we go. So let's take away 3, and you get 1. So put your circles above those numbers. You've got 1 and minus 5. Join them up. And then we just need to decide how we're going to colour one of them in. Now this symbol here has extra ink on it, and I always just remember the one with extra ink, colour it in. There we go, so we colour that one in, and there's your inequality drawn on a number line. This question here, we've got to draw a straight line graph. So it gives us our equation now. It says to find the y coordinate, you double x and take away 3. And it says x values from minus 2 to 4. So we'll just draw a little table with my x values, and I'm going to find the y values. So from minus 2 to 4, you've got minus 2, minus 1, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now each one of these, you've just got to calculate what the y value is. So for the first one, I'll do the calculation. The rest, I'm just going to sort of just do them in my head sort of thing. Let's start with a positive number over here for 4. So y equals 2 times 4, 2 times x, and then take away 3. 2 times 4 is 8, take away 3 is 5, and you just have to repeat that process for all these x numbers here. So 2 times 3 is 6, take away 3 is 3, 2 times 2 is 4, take away 3 is 1, and then hopefully you can start to spot a pattern here. It's going down in 2s. So by this point I can just follow the pattern down in 2s, so minus 1, minus 3, minus 5, and minus 7. And you can always check this last one here, doing that calculation again. What have we got? 2 times minus 2, which is minus 4, take away 3 is minus 7. And all we've got to do is plot these points on the graph. So we've got these as a coordinate. So just so you are happy with that, this one here is the coordinate, minus 2, minus 7. Okay, x is minus 2, y is minus 7, and we've just got to plot them all on. So let's plot those positive ones to start with. 4 to 5 is here. 3 to 3 is here. 2 to 1 is there. And the next ones I'm going to have to start scrolling down. But again, you can see a bit of a pattern here. Look, if you have a look from this first point to the next one, it goes down 2 and across 2. So I can just keep following that process. Down 2 from this one and across 2 gets me there. Down 2 across 2, down 2 across 2, and down 2 across 2 gets me right down to the bottom there. Just about fit it in. There we go. Don't forget, obviously you are drawing a straight line graph, so you just need to get your ruler, get your pencil and join those up with a nice straight line, making sure you go through every point. Do not miss the points, okay? Make sure they are super accurate. Obviously the one that I've done here is rubbish, it's not gone through the point, so you just make sure you don't miss the points. You go through with a ruler. And the nice thing about this is, if one of these points, and it's usually the negative ones, did happen to go sort of here and then here or something, obviously you make sure that that doesn't follow the pattern, it doesn't follow the straight line. Okay, so you know you've done something wrong and you can fix them. Okay, it should make a nice straight line there. Okay, so we've got Hannah is planning a trip for 195 students. She takes a sample of 30 of them, and then it wants us to work out how many of the 195 students will want to go to the theme park. So let's have a look. Out of the 30 students, 10 of them want to go to the theme park. So 10 out of 30 want to go to the theme park. And if we simplify that, that's 1/3, isn't it? So 1/3 of these students want to go to the theme park. So really, if we have 195 students, we're going to assume that out of that, 1/3 want to go to the theme park. So 1/3 of 195. So all you've got to do is 195 divided by 3 on your calculator to get 1/3, and you get the answer 65. So there you go, we will assume that 65 want to go to the theme park based on the sample. And then it says to actually state any assumptions that you've made. So we have assumed, or I have assumed if you're writing it, we have assumed that the sample represents all 195 students. Okay, that's what we've assumed, but it does also say, and explain how this may affect your answer. Okay, so my answer may be more or less. Okay, my answer may be more or less, okay, because it is only an assumption there that we've made that that sample is going to be true. Obviously in real life it might not be exactly 65, it's quite likely not going to be 65. Now we've got a cuboid, and it says that it's 2/3 full of water, so it's about the volume inside when we're talking about water. And then it says a cup holds 275 millilitres of water. What's the greatest number of cups that can be filled? So first things first, we want to work out the volume. Really nice and easy with a cuboid, because you just multiply these three together. Or you can think about it, we can work out the area of the cross section and then times it by 6, and that's the way that I'm going to do it. So the area of the cross section, we would do 30 times 19, the height of that rectangle, and then we would times the answer by 6. So you just got to do that on your calculator. 30 times 19 times 6, and we get the answer 3,420 centimetres cubed. There we go. So it does say actually in millilitres here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep it in centimetre cubed because it's going to be the same for us in millilitres, and I'm just going to divide that by 275. So when we divide that by 275, 3420 divided by 275, and that gives us an answer of 12.436 on your calculator, which is a total of 12 cups. There we go. Obviously there are different units there, but I can just rewrite that centimetre cubed straight into millilitres. It's 3,420 millilitres divided by 275. Okay, and there's your answer, 12 cups. Here we've got a right angled triangle. It says calculate the length of AB, which is this one here, and give your answer to 2 decimal places. So just having a look, it's right angled, so we're using Pythagoras or trigonometry. It's got an angle in there, so we're going to be using trigonometry. So first things first, write down your SOHCAHTOA triangles, and then work out which one we're going to use. So the opposite is the one we're looking for, opposite the angle there. So I'm going to be looking for the opposite, and I've been given the hypotenuse. So I don't need the adjacent, I need to use my sin triangle for this one. So to find the opposite, again, hopefully you're used to using these, or if not, you know how to use SOHCAHTOA without them. But when we're looking for the opposite, we're going to cover up the opposite, and we're going to do a multiply, so it's S times H. So don't forget to put the angle with sin, so in your calculator, sin 38, that's the triangle we're looking at, the relationship between the opposite and hypotenuse in a right angled triangle with an angle of 38. And we're going to times that by the hypotenuse, which is 16. Typing that into your calculator, 16 times sin 38, close your bracket, write down the full answer, so you get 9.850583605, and then round the answer to 2 decimal places, so 1, 2, chop it there, and it's a 0 after the line, so it's just 9.85 centimetres as our final answer for that question. Now we've got some rounding and error interval. It says Sally used a calculator to work out a number and it began with 8.3. Complete the error interval for y. So this is about truncation here. So it couldn't have been smaller than 8.3. It might not have had any decimals after it, so the last one would have been 8.3. And it couldn't have been 8.4. It says it starts with 8.3, so it can't be 8.4. And there's your error interval. Just remember, it's slightly different. If it had have said that she rounded it to 1 decimal place, that's the scenario whereby we would add on the extra 0.5, so we'd put 8.35, and we'd take that extra 0.05 off to get 8.25, but this is saying that her calculator started with 8.3, so it's about truncation, it's just been chopped off, it's not about rounding, so just be careful with that one that you don't get them mixed up. Now we've got a question about sharing in a ratio, so it says £360 is shared between these people. The ratio that Abby gets to Ben is 2 to 7, and then Chloe and Dinesh each get 1.5 times more than Abby. Now if we write this out, keep it all nice and tidy, we've got A to B to C to D, and A to B, Abby to Ben is 2 to 7. Now it then tells us information, Chloe and Dinesh get 1.5 times more than Abby. So Abby gets 2, so if we times that by 1.5, and you can do that on your calculator, there you go, you get 3. So they both get 3 as their parts. And this is work out how much money Ben gets. And all of them together are sharing £360. So if we add these parts up, we get 15 parts. So if we do 360, the amount they're sharing, divide it by 15. Again, you can do that on the calculator. Let's see what we get. 360 divided by 15 gives us 24. So there is £24 per part. Now if you like, you can times them all by 24. It does only say though in the question, work out the amount of money that Ben gets. Ben was the 7, so if we times that by 24, 7 times 24 gives us a final answer of £168. Just got to read the question there. It might have said how much they all get or how much someone else gets. Obviously it's told us how much they all get, but you just got to read the question there. So it was 168 for Ben. We've got to write these numbers in standard form. So we've got, I'm going to rewrite this number, 0.00562. We need to make it between 1 and 10, so that's 1, 2, 3 hops. So 5.62 times 10 to the power of, make sure you're careful here, it's a small number, a 0 point number, so it's -3 to represent those 3 hops that we've done. The next one's going to be a larger number, so 1452, the decimal's here at the moment, and it says times 10 to the power of 3, so we're going to hop that 3 times, making it a larger number, 1, 2, 3, and it's just 1452, just jumping over all those numbers, those decimals there. Now we've got the first 5 terms of a Fibonacci sequence. Write down the next 2 terms. So a Fibonacci sequence is when the first 2 are added together to make the next one. So 3 plus 3 equals the 6, the one after, and then after that these 2 are added to make the 9, so 3 plus 6 is 9. Then again 6 plus 9 equals 15, and then the final one then, 9 plus 15 is going to give us our next number, which is going to be 24, and the next number then would be 15 add 24, which gives us 39. So our answer there is 24 and 39. We've got the next one, the first 3 terms of a different Fibonacci sequence are A, and 2A. Find the 6th term. Okay, so these 2 are going to give us, added together, 3A. Then we can add together our next 2 2a and 3a gives us 5a. And then we can find our next one by adding these two together. So 3a and 5a makes 8a. Are we on the sixth term now? Yes, we are, so 8a. So our final answer there would be 8a. And then we've got a vector question. It says work out a minus 2b as a column vector. So these are quite nice and easy. We'd literally just add together the top numbers and bottom numbers. So we've got 4 over 5, and we're taking away 2b. So we need to double that. So 2b is going to be 6, 4. So take away 6, 4. So on the top, 4 take away 6 is negative 2. And on the bottom, 5 take away 4 is 1. So there's our final answer. Putting in our vector, minus 2 and 1. Okay, that's the end of the video. If you enjoyed that, please like, please comment, please subscribe, and I'll see you for the next paper.